Listen closely. January 8th stands as a quiet hinge in time, a day most people pass without awareness. Yet within ancient traditions, energy schools, and disciplined paths, this date marks a gateway. Momentum locks in here. Direction forms here. The tone for money, effort, and reward across the entire year begins to settle. I am Shi Heng Yi. Years within discipline, stillness, and observation reveal a pattern few notice. Certain days amplify intention. January 8 carries structure, order, forward force. It aligns action with outcome. When aligned correctly, small movements ripple far beyond expectation. When ignored, the year often drifts without anchor. This video uncovers why this date influences financial flow and personal stability across 2026. Not superstition, not fantasy. This rests on rhythm, timing, and energetic law respected by warriors, monks, and strategists for centuries. Salt, space, and placement serve as tools, not symbols. Tools shape environment. Environment shapes behavior. Behavior shapes destiny. Many seek prosperity through effort alone. Few understand preparation. Power moves silently before results appear. January 8 opens a brief window where preparation speaks louder than struggle. Missed awareness often leads to repetition of old cycles. Proper alignment creates ease, clarity, and steady progress. Stay until the end. A single overlooked detail decides whether this practice activates flow or remains empty motion. That detail rarely appears online. It arrives through lineage, not trends. This channel exists for seekers of inner order and outer balance, calm strength, clear direction. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow. Subscribe and walk this path with us. Ancient wisdom speaks softly, yet its reach stretches across centuries. Salt stands at the center of that wisdom. Long before coins, banks, or contracts, salt carried value, protection, and survival. Entire civilizations rose around it. Wars were fought over it, not for taste but for power. Across ancient Egypt, salt guarded sacred spaces. It absorbed decay. It preserved life. Priests used it to cleanse temples and stabilize unseen forces. In Rome, soldiers received salt as payment, not charity, but recognition of worth. From this, the word salary was born. Value was never symbolic. It was energetic and practical. In Eastern traditions, salt balanced opposing forces. It grounded excess. It softened chaos. Monks understood that unstable energy breeds scarcity. Stable energy invites continuity. Salt brought that stability into homes, meditation halls, and daily rituals. It anchored intention into physical space. Shinto practices place salt at entrances to block disruptive influences, not fear-based, strategic. In Hindu households, salt guarded thresholds and kitchens, the places where survival and provision meet. In African and Middle Eastern traditions, salt marked boundaries of protection and blessing, drawing clear lines between lack and sustenance. Salt does not chase energy. It receives it, it holds, it neutralizes extremes. This is why it appears wherever humans sought order, safety, and flow. Prosperity thrives where chaos dissolves, where space feels clean, steady, and ready. Money moves toward clarity. Opportunity moves toward stability. Salt quietly creates both. It asks for no belief. It responds to presence and placement. When positioned with awareness, it calms the environment. When the environment calms, decisions sharpen. When decisions sharpen, prosperity follows naturally. This truth survived not through words but through repetition. Generation after generation returned to salt, not out of tradition but because it worked. Energy moves like breath. When movement slows, pressure builds. Homes absorb this quietly. Every conversation, every worry, every unspoken fear leaves a trace. Walls listen, floors remember. Corners hold tension long after voices fall silent. Money blocks rarely begin with numbers. They begin with emotion, stress about bills, arguments about responsibility, fear of loss, doubt about worth. These moments do not disappear when the day ends. They settle into spaces where people sit, sleep, and pass each other without noticing. A cluttered room traps more than objects. It traps unfinished thoughts, A tense bedroom repeats the same story each night, shaping the subconscious while the body rests. Kitchens filled with worry slowly shift the meaning of nourishment into survival. Living areas carrying unresolved conflict disrupt harmony, and harmony supports flow. Over time, this stagnant energy forms patterns. Opportunities feel delayed. Effort increases while results shrink. Motivation rises, then fades. This cycle confuses many. The outer world seems resistant. In truth, the inner environment remains unsettled. Energy seeks the easiest path. When space feels heavy, movement slows, decisions become cautious, risk feels dangerous, even good chances appear threatening. Prosperity avoids pressure. It prefers openness. This process happens without blame. No failure exists here. Only accumulation. Life happens, homes reflect it. The moment awareness enters, change begins. Small actions reset large systems. Clearing space shifts thought. Shifting thought changes behavior. Behavior alters outcome. When emotional residue releases, clarity returns. When clarity returns, momentum follows. This is why preparation matters more than effort. Before inviting growth, space must breathe again. Before asking for increase, tension must loosen. Salt becomes effective here, not as magic, but as balance. It absorbs excess. It steadies vibration. It gives energy somewhere to rest instead of circling endlessly. Once space responds, the mind responds next. And from that quiet adjustment, movement resumes. Skepticism does not block movement. Resistance does not stop energy. Nature responds to action, not opinion. Water flows whether belief exists or not. Fire warms regardless of doubt. In the same way, simple practices shift space through alignment, not fate. Three forces move everything forward. Intention gives direction. Physical action gives form. Repetition builds momentum. Remove belief from this equation and the process still functions. Belief only accelerates it. Intention focuses awareness. The mind chooses a direction. Not hope, not wishing, direction. Energy follows clarity. When attention steadies, scattered force gathers. This alone begins change. Physical action anchors intention into matter. The body confirms the mind's choice. Space responds when movement occurs within it. Salt placed with purpose alters the environment because the environment recognizes change. Stillness breaks. Patterns loosen. Repetition trains systems, the nervous system, the subconscious, the space itself. One action signals possibility. Repeated action signals commitment. Commitment reshapes expectation. Expectation influences behavior. Behavior influences results. This is why rituals outlast trends. They bypass overthinking. They speak directly to structure. Doubt lives in thought. Action lives in reality. Reality always wins. Many wait to feel ready. Readiness follows motion. Calm follows order. Order forms through consistent, grounded steps. Even skepticism softens when results appear quietly. Energy shifts begin subtly. Pressure reduces. Thoughts slow. Decisions feel cleaner. The space feels lighter without explanation. These are early signs, not coincidence. This practice works because it respects law, not belief. It aligns inner focus with outer structure. It replaces chaos with order. Order creates stability. Stability invites flow. Salt assists because it absorbs imbalance and steadies vibration. Intention guides it. Action activates it. Repetition sustains it. Once movement begins, the system continues adjusting on its own. Awareness deepens, resistance fades, and momentum builds without force. Stillness comes first. Not silence around you, but silence within. This practice begins before any movement occurs. The state of the mind sets the tone. Rushing scatters energy. Calm gathers it. Sit or stand with steadiness. Breathe without effort. Let the body soften. The nervous system must feel safe before alignment forms. Tension signals lack. Ease signals readiness. Prosperity responds to ease. This moment does not require pleading. Begging lowers position. Desperation tightens the field. Energy contracts when pressure rises. Alignment expands it. stand equal with life. Not above, not below. Clarity means knowing direction without forcing outcome. No attachment to numbers, no demand for timing. Direction exists, trust follows. When control releases, flow returns. Remove expectation of spectacle. Quiet change lasts longer. Loud desire fades quickly. The most powerful shifts begin without drama. They settle, they stabilize. Words are optional. Awareness is not. Presence replaces prayer. Focus replaces effort. When the mind rests, the environment listens. Old frustration may surface. Let it pass. Recognition dissolves resistance. Fighting strengthens it. Observe and release. This alone clears space. Gratitude arises naturally when pressure drops. Not forced, not performed. Simple appreciation for shelter, safety, and breath. Gratitude anchors alignment without effort. This mindset prepares the field. Salt responds to state. Calm directs absorption. Clarity guides placement. Without this inner order, the action becomes hollow. Many confuse humility with self-denial. True humility stands balanced. It accepts worth without arrogance. Prosperity meets those who stand steady. When readiness arrives, movement feels natural. No hesitation, no urgency, just correct timing. This internal posture remains long after the practice ends. It reshapes reaction. It sharpens choice. It strengthens discipline. Alignment begins here, before hands move, before salt touches space. The entrance holds first contact. Every arrival passes through this point. People, news, opportunities. Energy announces itself here before moving deeper. When this space feels heavy or ignored, access narrows. When it feels clear and steady, flow increases naturally. Ancient systems understood thresholds as decision points. They determine what enters and what turns away. Prosperity responds to openness without chaos. The entrance must feel welcoming, not cluttered, protected, not sealed, balanced, not tense. Money often arrives through unexpected doors. A conversation, a message, a chance meeting. These openings depend on reception. When the entrance carries old stress or disorder, these moments slide past unnoticed. Salt placed here stabilizes first contact. It absorbs interference carried in from the outside world, the pressure of other people's fears, the residue of rushed days, the uncertainty that lingers after difficult interactions. This placement supports income flow by clearing hesitation. When space greets you calmly, the mind follows. Returning home becomes grounding rather than draining. From this state, decisions improve. Clarity replaces reactivity. The entrance also reflects identity. It mirrors how one meets life. Hesitant entrances signal hesitation within. Clear entrances signal readiness. Life responds accordingly. External blessings seek paths of least resistance. They avoid confusion. They avoid heaviness. Salt reduces both by absorbing excess vibration and restoring neutrality. This practice does not pull money toward you. It removes obstacles that prevent recognition. Opportunity often arrives disguised. Only a calm, ordered state recognizes it. As days pass, movement around the entrance feels different. Subtle, lighter. A sense of order returns. This change extends outward. Conversations soften. Timing improves. Small chances appear. All of this begins at the threshold, where outside meets inside, where intention meets reality. The kitchen carries survival memory. Long before wealth meant comfort, it meant food, safety, continuation. This space holds the deepest relationship with security. When this area feels tense or neglected, financial anxiety often mirrors it. Every culture treated the kitchen as sacred. It fed the body and steadied the mind. When nourishment flows without fear, confidence grows. Confidence supports risk. Risk invites reward. Money stress frequently begins with survival thoughts. Enough, not enough, loss, control. These patterns settle where food is prepared and stored. The body learns scarcity before the mind names it. Salt placed here stabilizes this core energy. It absorbs fear stored through repetition. Late nights, worrying. Conversations about bills, silent calculations. Over time, these moments imprint themselves into space. When the kitchen feels calm, the nervous system relaxes. Eating becomes grounding instead of rushed. Gratitude replaces vigilance. This shift rewires association. Provision becomes normal, not threatened. Food storage reflects trust in continuity. Empty shelves signal insecurity. Overfilled shelves signal fear. Balance signals stability. Prosperity follows balance. Salt supports equilibrium. It steadies extremes. It grounds emotion. It creates a quiet sense of enough. From enough, generosity grows. From generosity, circulation increases. Circulation sustains wealth. This space also influences discipline, routine, care, attention. These qualities translate directly into financial behavior. A neglected kitchen often parallels neglected planning. A cared-for kitchen reflects respect for resources. As this area clears, thoughts around money soften, decisions slow, impulse reduces, patience strengthens. These subtle shifts compound over time. Survival energy transforms into stability. Stability becomes confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. The kitchen teaches the body to trust. When trust returns, effort feels lighter. The bedroom shapes belief quietly. While the mind rests, the subconscious listens. This is where patterns deepen or dissolve. Stress carried into sleep becomes instruction. Calm carried into sleep becomes confidence. Money struggles often repeat at night. Thoughts replay. Worry tightens the body, even without words. The nervous system absorbs fear. Over time, this creates fatigue. Fatigue weakens decision-making. Weak decisions reduce momentum. Rest restores authority. A rested mind recognizes value. It negotiates better. It risks wisely. It trusts timing. Sleep builds the foundation for confidence, not motivation. Salt placed in this space supports release. It absorbs residue from restless nights, anxiety, self-doubt, old narratives about worth and limitation. These stories often form during stillness, not action. The bedroom also reflects relationship with self. Clutter signals unresolved tension. Disorder mirrors internal chaos. Clean space invites mental order. Mental order supports steady growth. Subconscious beliefs determine comfort with abundance. Many block prosperity not through action but through discomfort. Wealth feels unfamiliar. Success feels unsafe. These signals emerge during rest. Salt steadies this inner field. It grounds the mind. It softens emotional loops. Over time, sleep deepens. Dreams lighten. The body wakes without heaviness. From this state, confidence grows naturally. Not bravado, not force. Quiet certainty. Confidence rooted in rest does not seek validation. It moves cleanly. As nights stabilize, days sharpen, focus improves. Response replaces reaction. Opportunities no longer overwhelm. They feel manageable. This shift rarely feels dramatic. It feels normal, and normal becomes powerful. When rest aligns, effort requires less strain. Decisions carry clarity. The subconscious begins to support growth instead of resisting it. Wealth responds to confidence. Confidence begins in rest. The bathroom holds endings. Water flows here. Movement clears what no longer serves. The space reflects release, both physical and energetic. Stress accumulates silently, and that energy lingers longer than thought. Without attention, it repeats itself, echoing in decisions and habits. Every flush, every drop, carries more than waste. It carries memory, financial tension, missed opportunities, regret. All of it leaves traces in space and mind. These traces subtly affect confidence. They slow timing, they make risk feel dangerous. They convince the body that scarcity is permanent. Salt placed here acts as a purifier. It absorbs residue that lingers unseen. Anxiety about money, fear of loss, lingering disappointment. Salt does not force release. It simply holds space for cleansing. It allows energy to flow where it once stagnated. This practice teaches letting go, not just washing hands, not just emptying drains. The act symbolizes readiness, readiness to clear debt from memory, to release fear, to dissolve past limitations. As energy moves, the body relaxes, tension dissolves, decisions feel lighter, actions feel easier. Bathrooms are thresholds of transformation. They mark transition from inside to outside, from clutter to clarity. Salt amplifies that transition. Old financial patterns that once repeated in cycles begin to lose power. The mind notices freedom without thinking about it. Release in this space translates to flow elsewhere. Opportunities move more easily. Conversations become calmer. Decisions align with clarity instead of anxiety. Stress that once weighed on planning lifts. This quiet cleansing strengthens confidence. It shifts perspective. Scarcity no longer feels permanent. What is held in thought and space begins to move naturally toward resolution. When this area clears, the body, mind, and home all echo the same message. Old weight can be released. New energy can enter. Movement resumes where stagnation once ruled. The living room carries collective energy. It is the heart of the home. Movement, conversation, laughter, and tension all converge here. This space reflects the balance of relationships, shared intention, and flow. When harmony thrives, abundance follows naturally. When discord lingers, energy stalls, and opportunity feels distant. Salt placed in the central area stabilizes group dynamics and overall energy circulation. It absorbs residual tension from disagreements, impatience, or unspoken frustration. It does not punish or judge. It restores equilibrium. The effect is subtle but profound. Space becomes lighter. Movement feels easier. Interaction becomes smoother. Shared spaces influence perception of prosperity. When energy flows freely here, decision-making improves. Ideas spark. Creativity increases. Collaboration becomes natural. Opportunities appear in unexpected forms. Conversations, invitations, or simple coincidences, because the environment signals readiness. Harmony in the living room encourages consistent action. When people feel calm and aligned, they move with intention rather than stress. Momentum grows from clarity. Fear and hesitation diminish. Energy that once circulated chaotically now flows in patterns that support growth. Salt amplifies this effect by anchoring calmness into the environment. It steadies vibration. It reminds the mind to move gently through space. The home itself becomes a silent partner in prosperity, signaling receptivity to abundance. Even small shifts here ripple outward. A lighter space reduces conflict. Conversations feel constructive. Focus strengthens. Energy aligns with purpose. Financial and personal opportunities respond to this alignment without effort. The living room teaches balance. It connects personal intention with collective energy. Prosperity favors spaces where flow is respected, where tension is released, and where harmony shapes daily rhythm. When this central space responds, the home resonates. Every corner echoes balance. Movement resonates naturally. Abundance begins to feel not distant, but attainable. Words are powerful, but simplicity often carries more weight than complexity. While placing salt, the mind does not need long prayers or elaborate chants. Focus is stronger than volume. Intention is stronger than repetition. One clear thought can shift space more than 1,000 scattered words. Hold attention gently. Imagine energy moving where it needs to go. Let awareness guide your hand. Do not strain or demand. The salt responds to presence, not force. Every movement anchors your focus into the home, connecting thought to environment. Short, clear statements work best. I allow flow. I release what no longer serves. This space is calm and abundant. These phrases are not magic spells. They are markers of attention. They tell both your subconscious and your surroundings that change is welcomed, noticed, and supported. Internal statements should feel natural. Speak quietly to yourself or think them silently. The tone matters more than the length. Calm, confident, steady intention shapes the outcome more than urgency or anxiety. Do not worry about exact words. The message is already understood by energy. Clarity, focus, and repetition are sufficient. The salt carries these qualities into the corners of your home, where unseen residue lingers. Each placement becomes a statement of order. Each breath a signal that tension can move, that space can reset, that energy can flow. As you move from one spot to the next, maintain a steady mind. Avoid distraction. Avoid rushing. Awareness is your most effective tool. The home begins to echo this attention quietly, shifting pressure and softening stagnation. Even subtle thought can create profound change. The combination of presence, movement, and simple statements aligns space with intention. Over time, this quiet consistency transforms energy from blockage into flow and from chaos into calm readiness. What is spoken inwardly carries beyond words. It becomes momentum. It becomes order. It becomes the beginning of abundance. After the salt is placed, stillness must continue. The practice does not end with motion. What follows is just as important as what came before. Energy is sensitive. Doubt, worry, or negative words can undo the subtle shift you have created. Avoid overthinking. The mind naturally searches for immediate proof. It wants signs, results, or confirmation. This is normal, but pushing, questioning, or analyzing too soon disrupts the flow. The work is already done. Movement has begun quietly. Interference only slows it. Do not speak negatively about money, opportunity, or outcomes. Words carry weight. Complaints, frustrations, or self-criticism leave traces in the very space you just cleared. Even casual remarks about scarcity can pull energy back towards stagnation. Instead, observe silence or neutral conversation. Let thoughts settle. Resist impatience. Results rarely appear dramatically at first. Subtle shifts happen in perception, mood, and interaction. Calm observation reveals these changes over hours and days. Trying to control timing or manipulate outcome blocks natural movement. Do not revisit the salt with worry. Placement is intentional and sufficient. Touching it repeatedly with doubt signals confusion rather than focus. Energy recognizes certainty, certainty strengthens flow. Instead, move with awareness. Live in the environment as you normally would. Let the house carry the shift. Your attention has anchored it. Now trust the process. Allow the mind to align with calm confidence instead of anxiety. This 24-hour period acts as a protective window. It seals intention without forcing it. When honored, the shift strengthens and spreads. Opportunities that once felt distant begin to approach. Decisions feel clearer. Momentum resumes naturally. By choosing restraint, observation, and quiet respect for the work completed, you reinforce the space, your mind, and your actions. Doubt dissolves, tension lifts, and the foundation for abundance grows solidly without effort. Energy responds quietly, often without fanfare. Prosperity does not always arrive as a dramatic event. More often, it begins with subtle shifts you almost overlook. A sense of calm settles where tension once lingered. The mind feels lighter, more certain, more capable. Clarity appears in small decisions. Choices that once felt confusing or overwhelming now feel natural. Paths forward seem simpler. Opportunities that were ignored or unnoticed begin to present themselves. They may appear as short conversations, unexpected messages, or sudden invitations that carry potential. These small openings signal that the space is ready to receive more. Help arrives without request. Someone offers advice, guidance, or a solution that aligns perfectly with what you need. Timing seems almost effortless. Challenges that once felt heavy feel manageable. The mind relaxes and mental relief emerges, not through external fixes, but through the alignment of energy around you. Even subtle changes in daily life indicate movement. A lighter step, a clearer thought, or a spontaneous feeling of gratitude reflects the activation of abundance energy. These signs often feel ordinary until reflected upon. Ordinary becomes extraordinary because it signals unseen shifts taking place. Notice how flow begins to influence behavior. Actions feel easier, not forced. Tasks that once required strain now carry momentum. Interactions feel smoother. The environment feels receptive. This is the quiet language of prosperity energy responding. The home itself seems to breathe differently. Corners feel lighter, air feels clearer, The energy you created through salt, focus, and intention resonates beyond the immediate moment. These signs do not demand attention or excitement. They arrive softly, yet they are unmistakable to those who are aware. Recognition of this subtle movement confirms that the practice has taken hold and that abundance is beginning to move in alignment with your intention. Time holds patterns. Certain moments carry more weight than others. January 8th is one of these moments. It is not simply a date on a calendar. It is a point where energy gathers, ready to move in new directions. How this day is approached sets the rhythm for the months that follow. Beginnings shape momentum. When action is aligned with clarity, focus, and purpose, the energy set in motion continues long after the day ends. Small adjustments compound. Choices, habits, and intentions respond to the foundation established. A single intentional day can influence patterns that last all year. Energetic momentum works like a river. Once the current begins, it carries everything forward. Obstacles slow it, but the flow persists. If the start is steady, calm, and directed, the current strengthens naturally. Effort later becomes easier. Decisions feel clearer. Opportunities align without forcing. Conversely, hesitation or misalignment at the beginning causes resistance to build. The river splinters, creating friction, delay, and uncertainty. This is why a single, mindful practice holds power. Salt, placement, and intention are not symbolic. They are instruments of alignment. They organize energy in a tangible way. When the home, mind, and subconscious move in the same rhythm, the year unfolds with momentum rather than struggle. Energy remembers beginnings. The intention set, the care taken, and the focus maintained on January 8 resonate through time. Daily life reflects this quietly. Challenges appear easier. Progress comes naturally. Growth is supported rather than forced. This day is a pivot, not because it guarantees miracles, but because it primes the system. Energy follows the path cleared. Habits stabilize. Confidence strengthens. Opportunities meet preparation. By honoring this day, you create an invisible architecture that supports prosperity for the entire year. Trust the process. The energy you have set in motion does not demand force, only attention and patience. Stay open to subtle shifts, to quiet opportunities, and to the gentle unfolding of prosperity. Life moves in response to alignment, not struggle, and what you began today will continue to ripple through your home, your mind, and your year. If this practice resonates, like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Divine Flow to walk this path of clarity and abundance together. Remember, the smallest action taken with presence can create the greatest transformation. Open your space, open your mind, and let abundance flow effortlessly into your life.